Are you concerned that Clemson is missing a lot of players this spring? Now, Dabo came out and he said, hey, it's the second scrimmage of the spring. They had a lot of guys out, ton of guys with mono, said they were kissing their girlfriends too much. He said the team was kind of like a patchwork team. And it was almost like, he didn't say patchwork, I said patchwork. He said a minor league baseball team where you got the catcher playing left field and the pitcher out there at third base. You just patching them together. So that's why I say it's a patchwork. They got linebackers playing at cornerback because there's not enough cornerbacks out there. They got offensive linemen that are out that are getting moved around, which is a position of concern after last year. A lot of young guys, though, getting work. So I'll pass it around to you. Houston, we'll start with you up. Are you concerned that Clemson is missing a lot of players this spring? Because I did notice in the forums, a lot of people kind of like a little bit paranoid. Hey, we're not getting the kind of reps we need this spring.
The best thing that I've ever done is just got off all forums. Don't look at them. Don't give them the time of day. It's everybody that knows everything on forums. So take that with a grain of salt. Look, yeah, no. I mean, is it? Yeah, but it's not. It would be really concerning if out of these 15 guys, like 6 or 7 of them had like seriously doubtful for the season type injuries. And we've seen a couple. We've seen 1 or 2, Rayburn especially. That was affected, but it's nicks and cuts, bruises, all that kind of stuff. You're also factoring in there's a lot of guys that were from the end of the season that could probably practice if they wanted to now, but the coaching staff as a whole is holding them out. So there's a lot of factors. I just don't think it's a good idea when you see certain Clemson media people saying it's catastrophic proportions. Yeah, it's the spring. It's going to happen. It's going to be a patchwork spring game, but I would much rather it get all your bumps, bruises, nicks, cuts, whatever, out in the spring than have some serious stuff happen in the fall. And that can happen. I don't know. I don't want to definitively say it's good. It's not good when you have a bunch of guys that you're relying on. That's the truth. But I also want to just be kind of the guy that says, let's take a breath and realize that it's spring practice. Like, let's not throw in the towel just yet.
Now, Al, when I play Madden, I like to turn the injuries off so that I can play with everybody that's on the roster 100%. Make sure they're getting through the whole entire game. Now, that's not realistic in the real world, but to Houston's point, is there any real need to panic or be worried? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's too many long-term injuries. I mean, there's guys that were injured and played through injuries last year and now are getting healed up and also getting surgery to kind of hold them out. There's the young guys that are coming in that needed surgery before they got on campus or got on the field. And then there's some guys that are just getting dinged up and having things like mono that just pop up out of nowhere and sometimes can spread around the locker room. So when you think of those things, does it concern you at all?
Well, I like Houston's answer, the yeah, no kind of answer, because, I mean, there's certainly concern because, I mean, like Houston mentioned, it's the guys not getting the reps. It's the offensive line not getting the reps. This is a unit that needs has a lot of proving to do, to be quite honest. And the receivers as well. We've got a couple nicked up right now. Williams, I think, is out, and Bo Collins is nicked up right now. So it's a good thing that they're not more long-term injuries, but not only that, so now you've got a little bit of – I'm not worried about the receivers as much. Offensive line, I think, is a big deal right now to have some injuries on the offensive line, but that, kind of combined affects the quarterback. So now DJ can't get the reps with the guys that he needs and the guys that he's going to have on the field, or Cade either. So it's kind of like a domino effect there as far as how that goes. But I think people are mainly concerned about this for twofold reason, is the fact that last year we were devastated with injuries, completely devastated all season long, and they just seem like it's not going away. And so, again, and the fact that you don't have the people, that are getting the reps they need, I think those are the two issues that mainly people are freaking out about. But at the same time, like y'all have already mentioned, I don't think they're major injuries. As long as everybody comes back ready to rock and roll come fall camp, it's probably not going to be a huge deal. But, yeah, absolutely, there's always a level of concern, without a doubt.
I mean, I think for me, I'm just trying to get through, and I'm excited about the spring game. no matter who plays. I mean, I think you can, if you really pay attention to the spring game, there are glimpses of guys here and there that want to prove themselves. I started to see Bo Collins show up in the spring game early, and I mentioned it. I started to see Phil Maffa show up early, and I mentioned it. And he got held back a little bit until injuries during the season allowed him to show what he could do. Specifically about Phil Maffa, I mean, he's been sitting there, and now he's the number one running back, at least in the spring, because there's nobody else available. So situations like that are a little bit more troublesome when you have the only person out there that can do anything. And I know the cornerback position has been very, very limited right now because there's of injuries as well. But again, I think there are players that are going to be able to show what they can do, where in a normal scenario, they might not be able to get those reps. That's why we're hearing things about Adam Randall early. We might have heard about him early regardless, but we're hearing about him getting a ton of reps, valuable reps, even more so than he would have in maybe a traditional situation. But again, I think, Al, you're right on the nail right there. I mean, I think that fans, including myself, just have to remember this is a new season. They are getting healthy from last season. The curse of the injuries doesn't have to happen 2 years in a row. Statistically speaking, Clemson has never had an injury-riddled season like that. I mean, at least under Dabo Swinney, it's never been that bad. So hopefully there'll be a return to the mean when it comes to the injury situation. So again, if we're in fall and we're having the same conversation, then I'm a little bit, a little bit nervous about that. But considering that we're in a situation where you want as many people to get reps as possible, I think it's important to just keep that into perspective. Let's get into the chat real quick and see who's got in and wants to talk about it as well. John says, this year's Tigers get more warm-up games, though. No Dogs or Aggies in the early 3-4 games. That's a good point there, Al. I'll throw it back to you. Obviously, they start out, I believe, with Georgia Tech, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a lot better than Georgia, of course. So considering that, do you feel like that helps them in the future? I mean, you got Georgia Tech, Furman, and Louisiana Tech as your 3 games. And then Wake Forest, as we've mentioned in the past, that they handled last year. So even with DJ not hitting on all cylinders, they outmanned Wake Forest. So what are your thoughts about, not only the injuries, but also seeing that the beginning of the season is a lot more favorable?
Yeah, and I'm glad you got to this comment because John's right on the money here. And the fact that they have these warm-up games, so to speak, you hate to call warm-up games when you've got a conference game to start out, but it is Georgia Tech. They are one of the worst teams in the conference, and it's somebody Clemson should be able to handle.
Their star running back
or not. Yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things where yes, you want to be healthy. You want to get that rhythm. You want to get that continuity on offense. I think that's kind of what concerns Clemson fans the most, is having these people healthy so they can gain the continuity over those first 3 or 4 games, so that when the big ones come, they're ready to rock and roll. I think that's kind of the big deal. But yeah, I love the schedule. I love the way the schedule sets up this year for Clemson. I think it's going to be great.
Houston, I mean, I've mentioned this in a conversation about DJ specifically. I think it sets up well for him. We know that he can perform against Wake Forest. Furman, Louisiana Tech should not be a concern. Georgia Tech, again, I don't believe should be a concern either. So really, for someone who needs those early wins and minimal stress to get into the rhythm of a real season, a live football season, I think it bodes well for DJ. But again, for the entire team and injury perspective, do you agree?
Well, I mean, yeah, entire team and injury perspective, definitely. You're going to get to play, assuming that the injury rash is subsided, is very minimal going into the season. You're going to get to play a lot of guys, or at least that's your goal to do that. The other thing that nobody wants to talk about, and look, I'm going to be on team start DJ, team play DJ, roll with DJ until it's absolutely necessary, and hopefully that's not the case, but it's to Cade in the first couple weeks. And I don't know if this is going to play out the same way like 2018, where we see the first 2 series and then the next 2 series go to Cade or whatever like that. But everybody's going to get reps to play. And I think this is the best way to set this up. It's just going to be a lot of reps for a lot of guys the first few games.